What's good, everyone? This is Dev the Coolest.
And this is JB.
And welcome to
Hashtag Flick Talk. Welcome to Hashtag Flick Talk, y'all. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Ille. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Whatever day you're listening to this, happy day.
Yes. Oh, happy day.
Hey.
Come on, vocal.
Well, anyway,
today is a special day.
It is a very special day. We have a very good friend of ours on the show.
Yes.
He goes by Mike Diddy. What's up, Mike
Diddy? Diddy in the building.
What up?
What's going on? What's going on? We finally got him on the show. We finally got him on the show.
Finally. How are you doing during this lockdown?
Huh?
How are you doing during the lockdown?
I'm doing all right.
Actually, no. Before we go into that, not to cut you off, Deborah, or not to cut you off, Mike, but before we go into that, I think it would be important for you to just give a little bit information on who you are, like where you're from.
Get to that. Just go get to that.
Your sign. Well, we'll get to the how he's doing during all this. People are tired of hearing how people are doing at this time. People want to
tell us about yourself.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and how long me and Dev, the coolest, have been knowing you, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. What up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Diddy. I am 38 years old. I am from the Bay Area. Grew up in Richmond, California. I'm a Pisces.
Hey. Pisces gang.
I've known Dev and Justin for about 12, 13, 14, 15?
2000?
Yeah. It's been a minute, huh?
No. So for me and Mike go back like 2 flats in the Cadillac. Or 4 flats in the Cadillac, one of those. Me and Mike go all the way back because we had mutual friends when I was really younger. And then I think when me and Dev were roommates is when you guys were introduced. Yes?
Right. That's when we were formally introduced.
We were formally introduced, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So for a minute now.
It's been quite a minute. Yeah.
It's been quite a minute now.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. And and all y'all know, who my favorite artist is, Faith motherfucking Evans. Hello.
Yes. Shout out to Faith Evans. She's gonna be listening to this, I'm sure.
Hey.
That would be dope. No, but before we do move on, to the topic at hand and to what you're doing during this time, I do want to make it as light as possible because the topic that we are going to be discussing is pretty rough, pretty serious. So before we get into that, what I want to know, which I do know already because we're really close friends, but I think that the listeners and everybody would want to know is what is some things that you enjoy doing on your spare time? Like what does Mike Diddy enjoy doing in his spare time outside of listening to Faith Evans?
I don't like doing shit. You know that.
You like doing some things.
What I like doing.
What are some activities you enjoy doing?
I like working out.
Okay, working out.
I enjoy working out. When I have the time to do that. I do like taking a ride and just looking at all the beautiful sceneries, in different states. Not different states, but I'm talking about different cities. What else do I enjoy doing? Everybody know I enjoy my music. I like to go clubbing every once in a while.
Okay.
It's not a must, but I do love to dance. So it's a very tough situation because I don't like really going to the club, but I love to dance. So it's like I don't want to get all that in there. What else do I like? I like watching TV. I mean, just regular typical shit. I'm really a simple dude.
Okay. And then to Devery's question, Devery was saying, what have you been doing to like pass by your time, and how are you feeling during this time?
Well, I'm doing okay because like staying at home and quarantining is nothing to me. It's like I've always been a homebody. I've always been like a hermit growing up. So me just staying home either reading some books, watching TV, making sure my mom was good, because, you know, that's the one I'm looking out for right now, just my mom, because she's very worried, you know, going with this whole corona shit.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah.
I feel that. Okay, Dev, you have any questions? Dev the Coolest, you have any questions before we open up the topic?
Get into it.
Hold on. Go ahead.
But so right now, are you working?
Yeah, I'm currently working.
Okay, we don't got to tell people where you work. We don't need no stalkers. But for being, you said what?
No, I said right.
But thanks for being on the front line, being one of the front line people.
Yes, Mr. Essential.
Making sure that something is still running and there's some sense of normalcy, whatever normalcy means at this point.
Yeah, it's difficult out there. You know, everybody just running around crazy and scared, and this is something new for all of us, and something that we're gonna have to get used to for a while, because it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think so.
Right.
I think it's going to slow down and, you know, fade out, you know, little by little, but it's something that we're going to have to actually really take into, really have to look at this, look at the big picture of it, because this is a wake-up call, in my opinion.
Yeah, slow us down, at least go through the summer. But
yeah.
Hey.
So today, what we are going to be discussing on #Sleep Talk Podcast is the drug, specifically methamphetamine, aka meth, aka crystal meth, aka tea, aka party drugs, aka what, Mike?
AKA Tina,
yeah. AKA what, GAC.
Dang, how many names you got?
I never heard that one.
Yeah, it's a ton of names. I did a little Google searching and everything like that. I only know the ones mostly that, you know, T and Tina and things like that. But we're going to be discussing that and how they, to narrow it down a little bit, how they majority impact the Black gay community, because we all are a part of that community. And I think this is going to be an important conversation, because I feel like it's actually running rampant now. I feel like it's being used in our community more than ever, and it's, you know, hurting our community, and it's important that we get in front of it and try to give as much information from our point of view as possible, and hopefully we can kind of like change lives, or, you know, help people get through this time, or, you know, what do you think, Dev?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything you said. It's definitely something that's running rampant through I would say the gay community, period.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I think we're going to talk a little bit of what it looks like, how you know, it affects you, and how it can be addicting, and what a road to sobriety looks like, if it's even possible.
Absolutely. So before we bring Mike in, I do want to start it off by saying that meth, from my perspective and from my knowledge, a lot of meth is, and Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because you have some information. We're going to get to that, but you have some more information probably than I have. But meth is usually used as like a party drug. And what I mean by party is just kind of like, you know, people coming together, not necessarily, going to a party and listening to music and dancing and socializing. I'm sure people use it in that setting, but from what I've known of it, it's usually used in a setting where, you know, dudes, where it's like sex taking part and people, you know, intoxicated on other drugs as well. And then hence you have the term party and play, which essentially is, you know, you partying, using drugs, and then you playing, having sex. So to start off with you, Mike, and finally bring you in on the topic, how do you feel about the whole essence of partying and playing? Like, do you feel like people pretty much latch that term on to make it more presentable, like to party and play and make it sound good, or is it just pretty much drug use being used, like people using drugs and not necessarily, worrying about the whole aspect of there being a party. Like, what does that look like? Basically, what does that look like firsthand? Because I haven't been in that situation.
As far as what, like
is it actually like people, like I mentioned in the beginning, like from my take on it, not having been there, but what I'm thinking is that people are coming together and then they're doing drugs and just having sex. Like, is it that type of, case, or is it people actually dancing and partying and turning up to music and like meeting people? Like, is it actually a real party, or is it just like literally a sex party and drugs?
It's both. It's both.
Okay.
I've been in both situations where it turns into it's a party. Everybody's chilling and smoking and having a good time. Definitely playing music. Definitely like in a dark room where lights are low, or neon lights, or whatever you want to call them. And then there comes the sex involved. If that's what you're going to be doing, because there have been invites where we're going to smoke, going to chill, and just chill out, listen to music, yada yada yada. And it's like, well, I'm trying to fuck. So
yeah,
both. And I've always on the apps, like like Grindr. We have Grindr. We have Jacked. Those kind of apps. I've always seen it, or even Adam for Adam back in the day. I've always seen the PNP, or party and play, but I never paid attention to it. I wasn't curious about it. I didn't know what it was. I wasn't curious. I wasn't tripping. So I never paid attention and just let it be, but I always came across it. So fast forward 2013 to finally be involved in it. Oh, so this is what it's all about.
Do you mind sharing like that beginning story? I know the reason why I brought up the party and play thing is because I feel like a lot of people in our community in general, and in general in the gay community, we see that term being used, and now it's starting to become familiar with us because we're educated on it. But I don't think people actually, take the time to talk to somebody that's been personally in that type of, space. So that's why I started off with that question. But if you're comfortable, would you like to share like how, you took place, like how that all started for you to become familiar with that drug, like, and how it started for you?
Yeah, I can speak on that. It was introduced to me in my last relationship, and the relationship was supposed to turn out. The relationship was actually a one-time thing, like a booty call, whatever. And person, we knew of each other through passing, and liked each other's pictures on the social media pages and things like that, whatever. So the person finally got the nerve to start hitting me up, and going back and forth, saying what's up with it, want to chill, want to link up, yada yada yada. And he asked me if I ever PNP, and I was like, no, I never done that before. When he was like, would you be willing to do it? You want to try it, whatever. And shit, I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it because I've had weed before in my life, and I think I can count about 5 times. Every time I've smoked weed, it always gave me this crazy situation where I'm paranoid and I'm all emotions, where I'm like happy 1 minute, sad the next minute, laughing the next minute, dancing the next minute, angry, all of like in less than 10 minutes. I'm all of that. And every time I've smoked weed. And so I was like, oh shit, well, I doubt I'm going to like anything else, or, so I said, we'll go ahead and try it. So we linked up, and he brought it over, and it was in a pipe. Like what they call them, this oil burners. That's what they call them. I almost like a crack pipe.
Mm.
Um,
I would think so. Like
I would
pretty
think
much
so.
like the circle thing, the like
Yeah,
bubble.
yeah, like a
Okay.
bubble. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he showed
Mm.
me what it looked. He showed me what it. Listen, I don't know how to smoke. I don't know how to inhale. I don't do any drugs. I've never done any drugs before. So this is all new to me. And he showed me, what it looked like, which is like some like a white hard rock basically. That's
Mm.
kind of smash up and you put
Mm-hmm.
it in the oil burner. And then you light it up underneath the little bubble and watch it like kind of like heat up and
Mm-hmm.
turn into like what do you call it, like oil, and then there's
Okay.
white smoke that foams up, that comes up, and the bubble, and then you start to inhale it by the other side of the pipe, whatever, and start inhaling and smoking that. And within seconds, or not within seconds, but within like a couple of minutes, you can actually, well, for me, I would say you can actually feel the high. The first time I did it with him, it was what I can remember, because it's been a very long time, but what I can remember is that my head was tingling. It
Mm.
was tingling, and that's completely opposite from what I experienced with smoking weed before.
Yeah.
So we kept going back and forth doing it. He was teaching me, inhale it, blow it out, whatever. Don't burn it too much. Da, 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 da. And got to a point where we just stopped that, and then we start making out and having sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know that. I didn't. I think I'm very good in sex, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't think that I was doing anything different, or I was like going from 0 to 100. I thought I would be just regularly having sex.
Right.
But it was but for some reason I look at the time, it was like 3:00 in the morning. Mind you, he came over almost around 10:00, I'm guessing.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh
we kept
wow.
going and going and going and going and going. That's when I realized, oh, wait a minute. And we wasn't tired, we wasn't nothing, but we did stop in that middle of the night, and we just kept on talking and talking and talking,
Mm-hmm.
and got to know each other some more. And I was asking him, so what, because I think I had to be to work the next day, and so I was asking him, so what's going to happen?
Right.
How I'm going to feel?
Correct. Yeah.
And he was like, well, your come down is going to be, you're going to feel very, very tired. You're going to feel very, very drained, like you can't move and you just want to sleep and da da da. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, I'm just waiting for that. So when I get to work, I'm waiting for that to happen. Here I'm at work. I listen to my music, process my claims and stuff like that. But I noticed that I was really like dancing in the seat. I normally don't do that. I'm very quiet.
Mm.
I'm noticing I'm dancing in the seat. I'm like, I'm just feeling good today. This is a good day. Yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And then around 2:00, it hit me. And I was like, oh, shit.
Huh.
I am hella sleepy.
That's is that usually how a come down feels, like a very sleepy, sluggish? Like does it like affect your mood in the sense of like you begin to feel depressed or like?
In the beginning, none of that happened. In the beginning, it was just a come down of just, sluggish and sleepiness and tiredness. It was no kind of mood swings or anything to my knowledge, because it was my very, 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 very first time. So yeah.
Interesting. So when you first did it, when you first did it and after you came down off of it and everything like that, like was your initial, did you think about instantly or even a day after, did you think about, oh, I'm going to do this again? Or did you think about like, oh, that was the last time that I'm going to do it? Like, what was your thought process when you finally like recovered from coming down?
I was like, oh, okay, so that's what it's about. Well, it's totally completely different from the feelings and the moods that I had with the weed. So I was like, okay, I ain't tripping if we do it again, whatever.
Mm.
And I was interested in doing it again.
Mm.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it didn't feel like bad.
Yeah, it didn't feel bad. It just felt, you just, I guess, like you just said. Okay, here, I'll put it this way: whatever you're feeling, let's say whether you're horny or you're happy, you're getting ready to go to the club, or let's say you're sad, mad, depressed, or whatever, whatever feeling that you're in my opinion,
Amplifies it.
Yes, all the way to the max.
Okay, so it's kind of like the same thing when people say that when they take ecstasy, they feel the same way.
Yeah, is that
enhancer?
It has, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. So, because him and I was horny right prior to us smoking. That's what it intensified and made stronger, and we just kept going at it. So
it became connected to the sex, not necessarily something that you needed to function through life.
Exactly.
That's good. That's a great point, Dev.
Yeah, which is probably why so many people, engage in party and play.
Yeah.
Because it becomes connected to the sex, not so much, anything else.
So that's what it was. On top of the fact that you were in a relationship or starting to get to know someone that you really like.
Right. Yeah.
And that you probably was starting to trust. So at the sex factor, at the fact that the drug didn't really do too much to make you feel sick or depressed or whatever the case may be, and then the fact that you were starting to like this person kind of made it more appealing for you to continue to do the drug.
Right. Exactly. I'll say this. You're supposed to get to know a person, right? In a relationship, you're supposed to go on dates. You're supposed to him take you out, you take him out. If you got your own places, you guys go to each other's places, yada, 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 courting, all that bullshit. For this relationship, it wasn't like that. It was like, okay, well, after we had smoked and had sex and then we stayed up all night talking, I wasn't thinking about no relationship prior. I was already focused on myself, on my job, working out, just all about me. But then I was like, because I hadn't been in a relationship in a very long time. And so when he came across and the way he was just presenting himself and we was talking, I liked what he was saying and everything. I was like, well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump into a relationship. Basically, I'm not trying to pull it, but you know how everybody keeps saying, oh, Biggie married Faye like in 2 weeks, yada, yada, yada. But after knowing him, pretty much we got into a relationship like that.
Yeah.
And it just went. I was like, oh, you wanna move in with me? We can figure this shit out. Da, 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 da. So I played house very, very quickly with this person on top of using that particular drug. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, it does.
It completely makes sense.
And I don't know, and I feel like I was played. I just say it like that. I feel like I was played with that drug that night, because I don't think had I smoked it, I wouldn't have those. I would have felt how I felt.
Right.
Trying to rush everything. I think because Michael likes to take his time and, just, take steps into a relationship. After you've already been in a few relationships, you already know how they go, especially these gay relationships. I wasn't trying to rush anything, but because that drug, and I'm thinking, oh shit, what am I feeling? And this might be right. And he's cool dude. He's handsome. He look like he got his head on, on straight. He's telling me this, telling me that. I'm telling him this, telling him that. Hey, fuck it, just get together. And he was with it. He was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure." He's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Well, as long as you cool with it, then yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I really like you." Da, 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 da. And so we jumped into a relationship.
And then the rest is history.
And the rest is history, man.
So what does getting out of that look like? Like out of that lifestyle? Like what is the path? One, maybe, I mean, if you want to share, obviously, what is, did that have an influence if you get for leaving the relationship? And then also, what does the road down sobriety looks like?
I don't think I was in the relationship with that person at all. I think we was in the relationship with that drug, because when we was in the relationship, right when we got together, we did that one time or maybe twice, and then we stopped for a very long time. I would say about a couple months. And somewhere, I don't know, I guess we both decided, hey, let's just go ahead and do it. And we did it. And that's when it started to become a regular thing for us on the weekends, because we both had jobs. And, he was like, well, we got to just do this on the weekend so we can, make sure we take care of business and work and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Well, he was like a functioning addiction.
Exactly. And so I think through time, when you start doing it a lot, that's when the whole paranoia comes in. That's when I'm sorry?
In what way? Like paranoia as far as like...
Paranoia as in hearing things that aren't really there, or, or seeing things that aren't there. And then, when you have turmoil in your relationship and starting to be rocky, then you're not trusting each other.
I think that's a good point. To stop you right there real fast, I think that's something to highlight as well before moving any further, just to dive onto that part. So a lot of people don't know specifically the side effects and what the drug does. But for some people, to your point, Mike, for some people, it causes paranoia. So they feel like they hear things, they feel like they see things, they feel like, people are after them. Other people, for others, they're able to handle the drug, like it's nothing, like it's a little bit more functioning than others.
Right.
That's a great point to highlight. And for you, you're saying specifically, it kind of enhanced this kind of paranoia in you, and you felt like things were happening.
Definitely. I felt like, we'll smoke, and we'll smoke all weekend basically, and we'll calm down. And let's say we had an argument prior before we even smoked, things like that will be brought up, and we'll be in separate rooms, in the living room, in the bedroom, and I'm just chilling, and I can swear I'm hearing shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I go in there, I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I keep hearing shit. What are you doing? And so that just breaks up another argument with us. And I also want to point out too, it causes like, you're staying up hella in the hours. You don't get no sleep, so you may have not gotten sleep that whole weekend. And your appetite is zero. You don't even eat. So
maybe I could lose some weight.
And it's funny, you know what?
Joking.
I can laugh and kid with him, because I do be saying that to you, huh, bitch?
He does be saying, he was like, nigga, if you want to lose some weight, he was like, that's all you got. But of course, we're joking and playing, and it's coming from a humorous place. But yeah, I have heard that
But that is true.
Yeah.
But that is true. After even talks with other people and things, it's just not a sex drug that I've learned. People who are going to school or going to college are actually using this drug just to stay up to finish the paperwork.
Yeah.
And they don't have those kind of things, those kind of side effects or those things. So it's very, very weird. It depends on the person. It depends on how it's being used. Yeah, man.
I actually heard also that when people, it's harder for people to get off. Speaking of the road to recovery, like Deb was saying, I heard that it's harder. It's like doubly harder for people to get off. It's doubly harder for gay men to get off meth, because it feels like sex doesn't feel the same as it does when you're on meth.
And that's true. Like I mentioned earlier, like I'm not trying to say I'm all that or anything, but my sex game was cool, and I feel like it just feels weird to, when you've done that for so long, with using the drug, and then you get off it, it's like, oh, this don't feel right. I want to smoke. I want to get get excited, get feeling good, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, that's why it's so hard for people to get off of it, because
because it's tied to a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tied to a good feeling.
So if it's not as enhanced as when you're on it, then you're not gonna, really feel it like you once did.
Right. Exactly.
Just a sidebar, I have a question for Dev the Coolest. Dev, do you personally, outside of we know Mike is dealing, with his disease and everything like that, I think it's important for people to, as a sidebar on top of the sidebar, I also think it's important for people to know that this is a disease. Like, the addiction that people are going through with drugs is a disease, and it's not something that people can control. Like you're hearing from Mike Diddy right now, it's not something that you can just completely switch off for a lot of people and say, I'm not going to do this no more. And it's specifically because of the disease, and it affects your brain and everything like that. And so I think it's important for us to have a little bit more empathy and understanding for people that are going through this addiction and this disease, and be a little bit more open-minded. So I'm happy that we're having this conversation, but I just wanted to give that little sidebar right there. But with that being said, Dev, do you personally, outside of Mike Diddy, know anybody else or have any experiences with somebody that, I know you and I haven't done the drug before, but have you had any personal experiences with someone that has, or has anybody approached you on like any of the apps?
Well, yeah, so no, I've seen it on apps when I was on it once upon a time. I didn't know what it was. I would have to come to YouTube for a lot of like, what do these letters mean? What is this? Like, because I was pretty naive when it came to a lot of early on when it came to a lot of stuff within the gay community. And then finding out what it all was and realizing how many, people were doing it, I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
But I've never done it. And I don't really know too many people in my circle of friends that have done it or that are doing it. I'm not saying that they aren't or they haven't, but to my so yeah, but I have been approached to party and play. And I didn't know what the hell that meant. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to play. I'm not trying to party with you.
Yeah.
we don't need to boogie down and party. Trying to get this off.
Oh, bloop.
That's all I want. But you trying to play charades and shit. But
stop.
But, on a serious note, no, I don't know many, but I have been approached.
Me personally, that actually makes me feel good to hear, because I mean, sometimes I worry about like just my friends and people that I'm close to being influenced to doing this dumb shit, because like I mentioned earlier in the segment, is that it's running really rampant in our community, the black gay community. Obviously, it's in the gay community as well, and we can discuss that on a bigger scale. But to narrow it down, like we're focused on the black gay community, and it's happening a lot more than ever before. And I get nervous about, associates and friends being approached on that level and being influenced to taking part of it. And I ask that question because I think back to experiences that I've had where people have approached me with trying to do the drugs. And I'm really open-minded, and I'm really open-minded, and I try new things, but that's just being that I have a really, really close friend that's dealing with the situation. I've seen firsthand how it can, really bring somebody's life down and kind of like, mess up people's lives. Not saying that Mike is completely like doing bad. He's doing well, but I just see how it can just really like lessen the mood and just change people's lives. And that literally like motivates me to never try it again. But I definitely have been approached, and I've definitely been in the presence of people that have done it and that were high. And I do know that it honestly, it makes me feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? They come, and just like Mike said, they're like fidgety, and they're looking around and paranoid. And I don't know if a lot of people. If you
not
said
to cut
what?
you off, bro. Not to cut you off, but that a word that they use for that is tweaking.
Tweaking, yeah. Absolutely. No, I even think that word tweaking is the perfect word. Absolutely. Just tweaking. But yeah, it makes me literally make uncomfortable. And then like for the sexual side effects that we didn't go into, and I'll leave it at that, is that, you know, for a lot of people, I think it makes your dicks off. You know, it literally makes your dicks off. You can't really perform. Like your dick doesn't really get hard or something. And then for, I think a lot of bottoms, people that are preparing to take dick, is that apparently it makes them more open and it's easier to take dick as well. Right. So I can see why, you know, not necessarily I can see, but I slightly understand why some people that are planning on taking, you know, getting penetrated will get on it, because they're like, oh, this will help me take it, and da 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 da.
I'm with poppers.
Okay. Listen, what's wrong with poppers? What's wrong with just taking the pain? The hell? But yeah, so I think that was important to mention. So moving forward, because we don't have forever, and this can be a long conversation. But I think it's important to move on to the road to recovery.
Yeah. So what does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a lot of work. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. You know, what for me, I can speak on me. When I got to the point where it was like just going crazy, after him and I ended the relationship, you know, I was just like, fuck it. I don't give a shit no more. Whatever. And I just continued to smoke, and I continued to smoke where it got to the point where one night I was leaving a person's place, and see if I can speed this up because I don't know how much time I got. I was leaving a person's place, and I was on the road driving back, and I got in the car. I got in the car. I was driving back, and when I was in the car, I thought that everybody on that road was trying to shoot me or kill me. So when I'm driving, I'm hella scared. I'm paranoid. When a car passes by, I'm ducking down in my car. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm going to die tonight. I'm going to die tonight. I'm going to die tonight. And the only thing I can think of, because, you know, how social media, we have our friends and we have our family on, you know, Facebook. Right. I reached out to Facebook. It's like, I don't know where I'm at, guys. I just want to tell you that I love you if I die. Something along that lines. I said something, you know, whatever.
I remember. Mm-hmm. Remember? I do remember.
I kept going. I was coming from Lafayette, and I was driving. Mind you, I was staying in Vallejo that time. So I was trying to get back home to Vallejo, and I was high as fuck, you know, on the freeway. Thank God the police didn't come and, you know, check me out or anything. But I was driving, and I guess I made a turn onto Highway 4. So I was headed to Pittsburgh, Antioch, and not even knowing it. I'm thinking I'm going home. So when I realized this is not the right way, I was screaming. I was trying to figure it out. I think that's when Lydia called me, my best friend, and Dewan, my other best friend, called me. And that's when it's like, find somewhere you can park. And I parked at this gas station, Chevron gas station, which I just happened to pass by the other day because I was helping a friend move. And that's like it's a weird kind of flashback for me when I passed by that gas station. But when I parked at that gas station, I just was screaming. I had my doors locked, and everybody who was getting out to get gas. This is not funny, but I can laugh at it now, whatever we want to call it. I thought they was coming to get me. So I'm screaming like, Dewan, you better hurry the fuck up. I need you to come and get me, yada, yada, yada. And his bro is like, oh, he's just high. Mike, calm down. I'll be there in a minute, yada, yada, yada. But I'm like, no, they're coming to kill me. They're coming to get me. You know, this is my last day here, da, da, da. And so fast forward, he finally got me. I said, you know what? I made up my mind. I can't do this no more. I need my closest friends and family. I need to call an intervention. Yeah. I need some help. Yeah. So that day, it was very hard. It was very hard when I got home because I don't know. I just kept crying and crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. And my bro, he was with me. He was holding on to me. He was praying with me. He was like, "You got to call your mom." I was like, "No." I said, "I can't tell her. I can't tell her what I've been doing because I kept that a secret. I've kept that a secret. There may have been talks behind my back that I soon found out later in time, but we kept it a secret because I think that's what you do, or you're supposed. You don't just go out. Yeah, I use drugs. I do this. Some people do, but this is all new to me. So he was like, "You got to tell your mom," and I was like, "I can't tell her. I can't do that. No." So it took like, I kid you not, on the phone 2 hours to tell her what I was doing, and that's the hardest thing that you can do. That's the hardest thing for me that I could have done was tell her that I have been using some legal substance for the past, we was together a year, almost close to 2 years. And all she said, "Baby, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. I still love you. Don't worry about that." And I'm never here to try to hurt my mom. So anyways, fast forward that same day, I said, "Well, no, I gotta have an intervention. I gotta have it today. I gotta let you know what's going on and let you know, tell you what I've been dealing with." And so I called or text each one of my friends who are like my hearts to come to my mom's house so I can have this talk and ask for help. And all y'all came, including my boy Justin, JB, and I sat them all down and I just spilled everything out. And I was like, I need some help. I want to get better. I want to get back to the original Mike Diddy that never had any of this in his life before. But it's not easy.
And to mention that moment actually was really kind of eye-opening for myself, but not only eye-opening, it was like I felt a whole bunch of love in the room. And I thought that what it looks like in retrospect, thinking back now, is that this man is so blessed because there are tons of people that are in the same position as you with dealing with this drug that would have not had as much support as you had in that living room. When I tell you, everybody came out for Mike Diddy. That living room was full. I remember when I got the text or the call or something, I want to say it was Amari or somebody told me about it. Or maybe it was even Mike. It was somebody that told me about it. And I got there as soon as possible, left work, got there. It was full of people. It was full of love and full of support. And we left feeling inspired and feeling motivated by what Mike was saying to us. And I think it's important. And I don't think I've ever mentioned this. Me and Mike have a lot of conversations involved in everything, but I don't think I've ever mentioned that I feel like throughout the journey of recovery and going through this thing, it's important to look back at that moment. You know what I'm saying? It's important to look back at the interventions, and it's important to look back at moments where everybody rallied around you to become, clean and a better person.
Yeah.
So what is as we get closer to time, what are some encouraging words or what is some advice that you would give to someone that's currently dealing with, or that's working through getting through it?
Oh man.
Encouraging words and you said some advice? Okay, cool.
For someone that's trying to figure out their way through it, maybe still going through it, but they're trying to find a way to get out of it, or if they're just starting to use it.
Oh man. Well, what I started with when I first asked for help, another ex of mine stepped up to the plate and he took me to this program. It's a 12-week program that I registered in. I think it's called Prop. And it's a 12-week program where you go in, you check in like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and meet up with a group of people who are also using, and discuss, just talk, get to know each other, and you try not to, and they have this like a little incentive reward bonus thing where if you don't use, then after the end of the program, then you get rewarded with like money.
Oh no,
I remember that.
that's
Yeah. And so with that prop, they also, included like therapy, if you wanted some therapy, some group sessions, some other group talks. So I took in all of that because I needed to figure out why I dive in the drug world at such a late age. In my opinion, I think, when you want to do that, when you want to party and play, when you want to have fun, a lot of my friends went to raves in high school. I didn't go to a damn rave, so I didn't know what ecstasy and all that shit was. But I do know, when you do that, you get all that done in your teens and in your early 20s. And for me, this shit came like in my mid 30s.
You were a late bloomer.
Very late. Very late. So now it's like, I gotta figure all this shit out. I didn't know anything about urges or triggers.
Right.
But I've to this day, I've experienced urges and triggers because there's a lot has happened to my life where I lost my dad, where I've lost my grandpa, where my best friend is now incarcerated in jail. And those things for me turns me to use because I'm a very emotional person. I'm a Pisces. I'm a very emotional person. I hold a lot of shit inside. I've always held that inside. So yes, I have used this year, but I'm still fighting the good fight. I'm still knowing that there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
And I haven't given up on myself. So continuing going into therapy, talk whatever else that's bothering you. There's some stuff that's probably I don't even know about that, once I, talk to a therapist, it'll come out and I can say, oh, so this is why I act like this. Oh, this is why my mood swings are this way and stuff like that.
It sounds like definitely teen looking into programs is a really good step, and also talking to a therapist.
Talking to a therapist. I mean, I didn't go to rehab. I went to the people say you can go to rehab and all that's fine and dandy, but you can relapse and relapse and relapse and relapse even if you go to rehab. So you're gonna have to want this for yourself.
Right. Starts with
yeah, exactly. And I want it for myself. I've gone from using, where we started on the weekends, then we went through the whole weeks, and then it was just constantly daily to now I rarely do it.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
So
and to add to that, not to cut you off, but to add to that and wrap it up a little bit, is that I think it's important for people to rally around those that, like I said before, to rally around those that are going through it and be a support system. Genuinely be there for people that are going through, the disease and are going through recovery and everything, because they need you.
right. Absolutely.
They can't do it alone. Alone. And I will say that I'm super duper proud of you, Mike. You've been out here doing the damn thing. You have been focused. You've been working. You've been positive and upbeat and on your shit and focused on your goals and your future. And you still to this day inspire me. And I just thank you for just being the friend that you have been and being consistent. And I personally wouldn't trade you for anybody in the world as a friend. So.
Oh, bro, I appreciate that. I love you very much. You already know. You know how we do it.
And I also want to thank you for coming on and being bold and brave and sharing your story. And I hope that this is an inspiration to people, and for people to know that they're not alone in this, and that there are resources and people in your corner that are here to help you. So we both really appreciate you for coming.
Absolutely.
On sharing.
And thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it.
I know that it's not easy sharing a story like
that. No. And lastly, what you say?
No, I'm just saying, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I couldn't do this. But now I'm in a good space where I'm trying to, I'm bettering myself. I want to help other people. I'm going through the same shit. You and me, we're the same person. Look,
exactly.
Talk to me.
Yeah,
and
God,
people
I can tell you.
And nobody's perfect. Everybody's going through their own thing. So
right.
Nobody's perfect.
God allows us to go through certain things so that we can be a story and a light for others.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, too, is this would not be the final conversation on this topic. I just want to let people know that, because I know there are some people probably going to listen to it and be like, oh, you guys didn't talk about this, or this could have been explained more, or how come you didn't dive into this, or have another person. Well, this is Mike Diddy's story, and this is the topic that we're talking about. But if anybody wants to add to the topic, feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to hit us up in the inbox. And we'll definitely be having this conversation more as, Mike goes through his journey, and as we get more information on the drug and everything like that, or, things in the community with the drug and everything like that. So, yeah.
But yes. All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much for being on.
Very welcome. You're very welcome. Glad to be on finally.
Yes. And thank y'all so much for tuning in to another week episode of Slick Talk. We will be back next week. Probably still locked the fuck down and over it, but
right.
We're still here and we are still getting through this all together.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
Love y'all.
All right. Take care.
Be good. Stay blessed. Love y'all.